What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the MPower Show. I am Markeith Braden.
And I'm Donzaleigh Powell.
And we are excited that you have joined us again for another week. We are ecstatic of our new show and all the things that we have planned. And, you know, the past couple of episodes, you had an opportunity to, kind of get an insight of us. And today we really just want to talk about collaboration and teamwork, the benefits of collaboration and teamwork. But before we jump into our topic for today, Donzaleigh, how was your week?
Oh my goodness. The week has been good. It's been very busy though. Definitely trying to juggle.
Yeah, it's been a busy week for me too. I just have had a lot of different things going on, and we're getting ready to go into the final quarter of the year. And so having those thoughts of, what do I want to plan?
Yes.
Do I want to do a Black Friday sale in my business and things like that? So you have anything planned for the last quarter of the year?
Well, I definitely have a few events that are coming up. So just tightening down on details for those. But other than that, just kind of sticking with the plan. I planned pretty far in advance, so I think I'm okay.
I know recently you opened up your studio. Tell us a little bit about that.
I did. Thank you. Yes. So I opened Donzaleigh's Photography Studio in Antioch, Tennessee. So this is my first brick and mortar. So yeah, woo woo. But been shooting for 13 years, but this is my first time having my own place.
Wow, yep. 13 years.
Yep.
13 years.
That's good.
In photography or, okay.
Yep.
So do you just do photography, or do you do video, or you hire people to do that?
Yes. So I just do photography. I do outsource for video, especially for weddings or large events and things like that. Yep.
Nice. And so, hey, if you need a photographer in the area of Nashville, Donzaleigh's Photography is a great place to go.
Appreciate it.
Awesome. So today's topic, as I shared earlier, is the benefits of collaborative work and teamwork. When you first hear the word collaborative or collaboration, what first comes to mind for you?
For me, it's not all about self. It's give and take. How can we form something together? Being willing to be flexible, like those types of words and things kind of pop in my head.
Yeah, I think about when I hear collaboration, I hear more than one person, right?
Yes.
I hear working together for a common good. I hear this opportunity to go further. There's a quote I heard not too long ago said that if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together.
Yes, I've heard that.
Yeah. And for a long time for me, that, I understood, but it always just seemed like working by myself, getting things done just seemed to be a little bit more easier than trying to collaborate with different personalities. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I've been the same way. Over the years, I have started to try to do more collaborating, depending on what it is. But I agree, because you kind of have your own process sometimes. So sometimes it is hard to say, okay, even though I ideally want it just like this, but like I said, being flexible to say, you know what, let me be open and maybe do something else, something a little different, and just going with the flow.
Going with the flow. Is collaboration and teamwork two different things? Because when I hear teamwork and I hear collaboration, I feel like that they may not be one and the same.
I don't think they're the exact same. I think they have some similar characteristics. So obviously collaboration, you're typically working with someone else, and in a team environment, same type of thing. Even how you mentioned different personalities, same thing. It's being able to evaluate those and make a decision based off of who you're actually working with, because everybody is different. So I see a lot of similarities. I wouldn't say necessarily exactly the same.
Right.
Because sometimes I can be on a team, but you could still be doing exactly what I want. So like you might be on my team and you're doing my plan. It's not a lot of collaboration versus, really trying to work together.
Because collaboration allows you to get input from other people regarding whatever the work it is that you're doing.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think more so. I'll put it.
Being a former track athlete in high school and ran track in college, track is one of those sports where you get points as a team, but everybody individually has to do their part. We'll say it again. You get points as a team,
Yes.
but everybody individually has to do their part in order for the points to add up. And for me, being a track athlete, but also played basketball in high school too, it was very different because you had a responsibility to do your part in the overall team aspect of the competition. And for a lot of my life, I feel like I have implemented that same mindset anytime I'm working with somebody. However, the negative to that, well, I won't say a negative, but maybe the drawback to that is that I typically have this mindset, I did my part.
I can see that. Well, actually, I was at the park maybe a couple of weeks ago, just out there relaxing and things like that. And a soccer team came out and they were working together. It was a much older coach, and he literally, before they left, after they finished practicing, he had them all link arms and forced them to run together, linked. And it just reminded me, one person took off before everybody else, and he said, no, go. So it's like everybody didn't have that coach. Everybody didn't have, I guess instilling, hold on. No, we're going to do this as a team. So
Right.
I can see how influences can definitely change people's lives, over a long period of time.
So talk to us a little bit around times that you've collaborated with other, entrepreneurs, organizations in your experience.
Yes, I say I've had a pretty positive experience several times. Sometimes not as much, but one more recent, we decided to have an event together. And so it was really, I think the hardest part was some of the logistics. We both have different skill sets. Like I said, I'm definitely a planner. I want to have everything basically laid out way before the event. But of course, time gets away and stuff like that, and it didn't happen exactly how we wanted. Still were able to have a successful event, but I think that different personality of maybe not being as strong in the planning aspect, that was a little bit hard for me because sometimes I'm thinking, oh, we need to already have this together. Like, this needs to be done. And so really, like I said, just trying to still do my part and do what I can, but then also utilize their strengths. So they were better at some other things. And so we, leaned on them a little bit heavier in those areas and then let me focus a little bit more on the logistics.
So what was the benefit for you in that collaborative
I think
relationship?
the main benefit was, again, their strong suit was a lot of the outreach to people that I normally would not have connected with. So they were able to capture quite a few as far as we had great attendance and everything like that. And I think that even though I have a following, have people that kind of know that I do events and things like that, it was a whole different group. And so they brought that to the table. I think that was very, very worthwhile and beneficial.
Wow. Yeah, for me, I have had several opportunities to collaborate and work on teamwork. But for collaboration purposes, I was sharing on a live just the other day around how collaborative work can benefit you, especially in your business. And 2021 during the pandemic was somewhat difficult for my business and challenging financially. But I had some very good experiences in collaborative work. And so I have a coach colleague of mine who, she has a community of women that she coaches in their business. And she called me up towards the beginning of the year. She was like, hey, I'm interested in collaborating with you or partnering with you for your coaching services with my community. And I was like, sure. So she sent me the contract and I signed the contract. And a few months went by, and I never really heard anything from her. And she was planning a retreat to Las Cabos, Mexico, for her women. To Las Cabos, Mexico, to Montego Bay, Jamaica, and then conference in Atlanta. Well, a few months went by, didn't hear from her, and then her assistant called me. And she said, hey, you're still going to be coaching for us this year, right? And I said, absolutely. She was like, well, we're headed to Las Cabas, Mexico, but we didn't hear from you around what your reservations were. And I was like, okay. And then the owner called me, and she was like, are you going to Las Cabas, Mexico? And I was like, am I supposed to go? She was like, it was in your contract that we had 3 retreats and that you would be expected to be at the retreats. And I was like, well, absolutely. And she was like, it's all expense paid. So I had 2 international trips.
Awesome.
1 domestic trip, all expense paid from a collaboration.
Yes. Now that's
on
excellent.
Resorts, 7 days at a time.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's good stuff.
So collaboration can open up opportunity for you that you probably wouldn't even think of, or that wouldn't even be on your mindset. And I never really had experienced that before. I had done some coaching for other coaches, but to have in my contract, not only was I getting paid to coach,
Right.
but I was requested to be at the retreats to support her in these efforts, and didn't have to pay no flight, no hotel, no food, 7 days on the beaches.
Right. And then that's also similar to what I was saying, a whole nother community of people that might not have been familiar with you, but now they're like, man, I really enjoyed that training. I need to follow him. I need to go to the next webinar or whatever it is that he's doing. Yeah, good stuff.
So collaboration can open doors. All right, what about teamwork? What's the experience that you've had that may be a little bit different from the collaboration, but yet you have to work in partnership on a team?
I think teamwork was probably a little bit more when I was in corporate America, just to be, as transparent as possible. In that area, of course, it was not only, of course, juggling what you have to do,
right.
But there's so many different teams, at least for the corporation that I had, it was, all these huge departments with all these employees under each one, but yet you're trying to work with either the department heads, executive director, you're trying to work with all of these people to make, like you said, the overall good or whatever it is that we're trying to accomplish. So I'd say with that, the teamwork was really a lot of communication, trying to be as clear as possible, I think plays a huge role, because if not, people get confused. People are like, well, I thought such and such was doing this. So it's almost like you talk and you discuss, but doing that follow up, that action item list. Hey, so at the end of it, so you're doing this, this, and this, correct? That type of thing. So I think communication is very key, because if not, you kind of get lost in everything. Yeah,
you can't get lost. But in teamwork, you got to know your role.
Yes. Yeah.
Why were you hired for, or what were your responsibilities in the team, right?
I think for me, in the role that I was in, I was kind of the, I hate to say it, but I was responsible for putting out the fires. So stuff would happen constantly. I was working with a lot of large businesses, small businesses. So you've got all these different mindsets coming to the table. Also very frontward facing as far as the public and the community. So it's like it was constant. Okay, this happened. Okay, let me handle that real quick, and then on to the next one. So I think just the ability to juggle things, which I've always done and I like doing. Like I would never want to just sit and do the exact same thing all day, every day. Yeah. It's just not in me to do that. And so I was able to use those skills in that position, and again, just kind of navigate what's going on.
And I like what you said. Teamwork is really steeped when you're working professionally in corporate America, because everybody has a title, a job, and a role. I think for me as an entrepreneur, times where I've had to work in partnership as a team was when I supported conferences. And I was supporting another coach or another person who was hosting a conference, and everybody has a role. Somebody is over the greeters, somebody's over maybe the marketing, somebody's over making sure all of the speakers are taken care of and assigned to a particular person. And then somebody might be over audio visual, somebody's over all the different pieces, movements of the conference, but the team has to work together. Now here's Here's where I have a dilemma though sometimes, especially in supporting conferences, because people will always ask to support. And the key to that for me is that make sure you get all the details
Absolutely.
before you say yes.
Absolutely. I've learned that. I start asking questions right away.
Right, because I know for myself, I am not the greatest servant, which is why I need to get the details. Like, what are all the things you want me to do? Because one of the things that I know, especially for conferences, that you don't want to ask me to do is to set up and break down. I don't want to set up chairs and tables and tablecloths and break it down. Like, that's just something I'm just not interested in. And I've done enough of that, especially being in full-time ministry and supporting enough people in their conferences, that I'm like, if you wanted me to come and support to do that, I'm not your person.
I'm sorry. That is so hilarious to me. But I understand.
I am not your
understand.
person. Like, if you want me to help, maybe put out the brochures, the marketing material, greet, things like that, but setting up and breaking down.
Yeah, I've definitely started asking, so what are your expectations? What does the actual day of look like?
Right.
Because you can hear one thing and have something in your mind, and then you get there and they're like, oh, here's your whole list, your list, sheets of paper, your list of things that you need to do. And you're like, well, I didn't know I volunteered for that.
Right. So when you are asked to do something, get all the details so you don't be like me. And what ends up happening is I get frustrated. People get to see a side of me that I didn't intend for them to see because I'm frustrated. I might be hungry. And you're talking about setting up and breaking down, and it's midnight and we still putting things together. I'm like, no, this is not for me. And this happened to me a couple of times. There was one time I was supporting a ministry, and the lady who was over the finance department for this particular school in Nashville area, they were having their annual conference, and she's a member of our church. And she said, hey, would you be interested in traveling with us to such and such place just to help the finance team with the tithes and offerings that would be taken up? And at the time, I was like, sure, I'll be, how hard could it be? I get there to the city, we travel to the city, and I kid you not, we were in this nice little cubicle space the entire 3 days.
Oh.
Couldn't leave, couldn't barely do anything. It was the worst experience ever. But I was frustrated, but not at her. I was frustrated at myself because I did not get all the details for the role that I was supposed to play on the team.
Yep.
Had she told me that we would be in that space for 3 days and have to ask for permission to leave and let people know you got to go, to the restroom, I would have been like, no, I'm not interested in that.
One scenario that I will say is also when you ask those questions or you request more information, you can quickly tell how prepared they are. Sometimes people have big dreams, but may not be as good on the integrating and actually making it happen. And sometimes I've had people reach out to me and I'll ask a question and they're just like, I'm not sure. And I'm thinking, well, if you haven't figured that part out yet, you're really not even ready to ask. I mean, I don't say that, but that's what I'm thinking. You're not even ready to ask for help because you really don't have it together. And that's another time where, for, again, a personality like mine that wants plan, I'm going to get frustrated because if I say yes and we go along and then again, we're still waiting on, well, we still don't have it. We still don't have it. So.
So we're talking about today, if you're just joining us, we're talking about the benefits of collaboration and teamwork. And then we also have gotten into the fact that there is some differences between being collaborative and working together on a team. Yeah. So as we, discuss this topic, one of the things that I really want us to, kind of help people understand that there are really great benefits to being collaborative and working on a team. Because somebody like me, I have a tendency to be a solopreneur. But at some point you get to the point where you need other people to kind of take you places that you can't necessarily do. I have a very high level ability to pick up things quickly and learn, and I have a tendency, let's let me watch a few YouTube videos and let me learn this, real quick. There is some benefit to that, but then there's also some benefit to, delegating and collaboratively working with people who have an expertise in that area that you're trying to spend time to learn, because that may not be the best use of your time. Right.
Yes, for sure. I'm real big on to sit up and necessarily always try to figure everything out yourself. Those days, no. If it makes sense, and like you said, if it's doable and it's something that you can pick up on, but sometimes either going to outsource or find somebody, like you said, that's already doing it, that can just show me. I'm a very visual person. I'm a hands-on learner. So for me, the YouTubes, I'm not sitting there watching them. It's just, but I think that you can find great partnerships where, again, somebody has a strength that you might not have. Like you're more techie than I, but I'm more creative. So it's finding, okay, what makes sense? What's going to really bring forth the best overall good?
Yeah, that's real good. What's going to make sense and bring out the best overall situation? And I'm creative. You're trying to say
no, I'm not saying he's not creative. I'm just saying, I view the world kind of differently. Let's just say that.
That's good. Well, hopefully that you got something out of today's episode around teamwork and collaboration, because we just want to build a foundation of where we're trying to go with this show, and wanting to make sure that we are providing value and getting you to start think about, what collaboration, teamwork looks like for you, whether it be in your own business, whether it be in your corporate profession, because we all need someone. Nobody is an island unto themselves. And I'll remind you of the quote as we prepare to close out, and that is, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And it just simply means that, people in the right alignment, partnership and collaboration really can help you go further than you could help yourself. So who are some of the people that you need to surround around you for your vision and the dream that you have? Who are the people that you need to surround around you that can help you launch that next product or that next service, or maybe even start a show like Donzaleigh and I? She leaves it up to me to set up all the video stuff while she sits and waits and gets ready. But, who are those right people that you can collaborate with or work on a team with in order to get to the destination that you're trying to go?
And don't be scared. I think that's a big thing that I've learned. Don't be scared to reach out. So if you had never hit me up to say, hey, can we chat for a minute?
Right.
So don't be scared to do it. Go ahead.
Don't be scared.
Yep.
Well, I appreciate you joining us for this episode as we talked about the benefits of collaboration and teamwork. Each and every week we are right here on YouTube, sharing with you our thoughts and things that we feel like would be valuable to you. But if you have some show topics that we should be interested in or should be sharing on, leave a comment in the comments section and let us know what types of shows you'd be interested in us sharing. Who would you like for us to interview on the shows? Because we're going to be doing interviews. We're going to be doing destination type things where we're bringing you along on some of the events that we're doing together. And we want to make sure that we are providing answers to your problems. I heard that just the other day, Bishop Jakes, around people are not seeking problems, they're seeking answers. And we want to be an answer to some of the problems or questions that you actually have. And so until next week, just remember this: always shoot for the top, because it's the bottom that's overcrowded.
Now, I know we typically do some type of motivation, right?
Okay.
All right. So the only thing that I want to mention this week, and it's real easy. So I have this hashtag that I use, quit quitting. Okay. Sometimes it's going to get hard, even in collaborations, partnerships, teamwork, whatever it is that you're doing. And that can be work, family, that can be in anything. Yeah. So really just stay diligent. Don't give up. If you get frustrated, if you need to take a pause, a step back, do that. But try to, again, communicate, try to recover, and just quit quitting. Stick with it.
Quit quitting. Y'all have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Peace.